Okay, this is the scenario one for the hesitant customer. I have overheard her mention to another associate that she's interested in Nest, the Nest security system with lock. However, she does not like the price. Uh, Hi, ma'am. I couldn't help but notice you've been kind of looking at the various products over here, and
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning more towards to the Nest. We already have some other Google things in our home, and it fully integrates with that, and it's a system we already have. So there's a lot of features. I mean, the one drawback though is the price. That's it's a bit hefty, and so I'm not really sure.
well, would you be opposed to? I mean, is it you've only you've looked at all the other ones,
Well, I
and
mean,
you absolutely are 100% on Nest? I mean, if you are, that's fine.
I'm leaning towards that. I don't know what other options I have. I mean, there's some features I really like, and I'm just trying to justify the cost of it. I love that I can walk in and just voice activate, deactivate the alarm. If I've got stuff in my hands, a lot of times when I come in through the door, I've got my arms full. Groceries, purse, whatever.
Okay.
And I like the idea that if somebody were to enter into my home and they were trying to mess with the hub itself, it would set off alarms, and just an added means of either deterrent or protection. Being a woman, that's important to me. I don't want anybody in my house who shouldn't be in my house. So I like the idea of that.
Well,
But really the price is just hard for me to justify.
No, I get that. Um, I could say for myself, yeah, it would be tough. Now, understand that obviously I'm a salesperson, so I would like you to buy a system. But as a person, I can tell you that I want the system that suits you best. And the things that you've mentioned specifically are are really key features to Nest. Uh, the ring system is, I could say, overall, for the most part, cheaper. Particularly, I mean, are things like monitoring, is that important to you, that you have a monitoring service, or that's not an issue at all? You just want this on property, you don't want any off-site involvement?
I'm not really sure about that. I haven't quite thought as hard about that. But I do also like the fact that you can couple the lock system with the Nest so that, it kind of controls the lock into your home, and you don't have to use a key and fumble around. You can
Okay,
just-
so the keyless entry is kind of a big thing for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that as well.
I mean, the Ring has like a touchpad entry, but it doesn't have a fob entry, which is something the Nest has. And that is a nice feature. I mean, if you're walking in every day and you're always walking in with 100 pounds of stuff, yeah, I can see where you'd want that, definitely. I mean, if you're not, and it's not as big a deal. Well, let me ask you, before we even go any further on that, what are you currently using?
Um, we have a dog. I mean,
Big dog? Scary dog?
he's a terrier, so he thinks he's a big dog.
All right. Anything else? I mean, locks, I assume? I've seen you just don't leave it open.
Yeah, no, we always lock. We have a motion sensor light that goes on at night.
So basically passive security.
It's just
type
your
things.
basic, yeah, we have not integrated to anything, more modern with
Okay.
security.
What are your concerns on that? I mean, are you looking at protection from,
Well,
are you just looking for the convenience of walking in and out the door? Or do you really, I mean, is it security? I mean, obviously you're looking at Nest, so you know that's security.
okay, so,
Why the interest in security?
there's some riffraff in our subdivision.
Riff raff, that's good.
Yeah, and, especially certain times of the year, there's, people out and about, drinking, whatever, and we've had a neighbor that had some hit and run damage to their vehicle that was parked in their own driveway, and they did have a system that showed, you know, that vehicle doing it, and they were able to turn it over to the police. Yeah.
So you're
I mean, I think in this day and age, it kind of is wise to do that, and
smart.
so
you're looking
willing
at
to
general,
take that step.
so you're looking at not necessarily, you know, protecting Fort Knox at this point, but you do want some general security. You do want to
Yeah.
take at least the, you know, kind of beyond the minimum. Right now, what you're doing is really the minimum, and that's normal. That's worked, you know, up until now. Obviously, things have changed in the way crooks operate. I mean, you see the people stealing packages off of porches, people just coming in the middle of the daytime,
And that's
ripping
true
things
too.
off, and that
We
wasn't
do
a thing
get
I saw.
We get a lot of Amazon deliveries,
Okay.
and UPS and stuff.
Okay, so a camera would be an important part?
It would be a very important part.
Okay. All right. Now, with the camera system, is 24-hour monitoring where they're always doing it, or would motion sensing? Basically, the way the motion sensors work is they don't require quite as much.
Right, so they're not always on. It's kind of like our light. It's not always on, but at night, when there's motion, you know, even someone coming up onto our deck by the door, it's gonna turn the lights on.
Right. But, I mean, so the motion sensor, basically anything that's going by, anytime it's moving, it immediately engages that. That is always active, say on the Nest, whereas with the Nest, the cameras are always active. You always have a feed going.
Okay.
So it's always running. With the Ring system, which would be the next comparable system, I mean, theirs is motion sensitive, so the motion sensor is always running.
Okay.
And as soon as it picks anything up, you see something. Now, you might go, well, how sensitive is that? Oddly enough, I have a friend who posted on Facebook, she has one of those systems, and Spider decided to build a web in front, and it detailed the whole process for the spider. So it was a very small little thing out a little ways, but it was watching it the whole time.
Okay.
In fact, I've seen on her system, she had somebody just cruise through her yard, and she's kind of in the middle of nowhere. No idea why, the person didn't do anything, and there were no reports of anything going on, but it wasn't somebody from the neighborhood. So, if I understand, well, let me ask you another thing. Do you have a garage, and is it attached?
We do have a garage, but it is not attached. It's an older home, so yeah, there's some.
Would you be looking to include that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big.
I would
if you would or
actually
wouldn't,
want
okay.
to. I feel that there are some vulnerabilities in placement of windows at our garage, and you know, my husband has some tools and stuff in there. We have a few vehicles. I just, yeah, I don't
Okay.
really. If we can catch somebody doing something that helps the police, and you know, even just to protect our items, that would be great.
Well, now I heard you mention before, like we've already talked a little bit about, was the price of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you came in here looking at this stuff, and you haven't made up your mind 100%. Are you looking to purchase today? Is that, if you can find the right thing, is that what you want to do? I mean, we obviously set all that stuff up.
Right. Honestly, yeah, I think I came in here with the hopes of purchasing a system, but when I was kind of looking at the pricing of the Nest, it kind of, you know, made me take pause. So.
Well, it does get a little bit overwhelming, taking in that much information. I get that.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, for me, at least, I mean, maybe not you, but for me,
I'm not
I
a
look
big
at the same
shopper,
thing, I
yeah.
look all over the place, and I start to
And it's a big
boil.
step, you know, so you wanna make the right choice, and I just wanna be as informed about it as I can.
Okay. Well, I can show you Nest. Obviously, we've got this up on screen here. As far as, you know, the size of various items, things like that, I can show you examples if you want to see the examples. You've looked at them in the store already,
Mhm.
some of them, so, but I can point you in the direction of those so you can get an idea. Couple of limitations between either system. Are you willing to look at the ring system if it's comparable or not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, like I said, I wanna make an
Okay,
informed
all right.
decision, and I just,
Just to let you know that if you want color, I know that we've gotten some crazy stuff in here. You know, somebody will want like custom colored stuff that matches their room or blends in. Colors are very limited. These are security devices and not fashion accessories. So just be aware of that. I mean, if you want to bedazzle them afterwards
okay,
or paint them,
yeah.
well, you know, that's on you. But they
Oh,
come
I
in
have a
basic
daughter,
black.
I'd be happy to do that.
Black, white, and there's Nest also offers another color as well as an accent on some of their things. They just kind of classed it up a little bit. Again, Nest is expensive. Now, one of the difficulties with Nest is, and you're going to see this on this initial screen that I'm showing you right now, is Nest doesn't have an easy way to walk us through currently.
Right.
So they want you to either contact them and they'll talk you through it, which we could do that now, or what we can do is we can take a look at the ring system. They have a very nice website on this. They're gonna walk us through and help you to figure out what you want.
Okay.
Now I know that you've looked at the Nest system already and you're looking at the price. The one thing I'll warn you about with the ring is, like I said, it doesn't have that keyless entry. It doesn't have that fob entry.
Okay.
So if that is a major deal breaker, always keep that in your mind, because I'd rather have you satisfied and paying a little bit more than unsatisfied with going, oh wait, no, this was really the thing I wanted and I didn't get it. So keep that in mind. It sounds like that's a major deal. And also the other thing is the voice activation, we're not gonna find on Ring currently. But what they do have in place of that is they have activation buttons. So if you have a panic button, basically you have a very small panic button that you can trigger. So if something were to happen in your room and they come in, yeah, you can have a button on your headboard that'll just pop it, and
Okay.
so it's the same thing, it's just not voice activated.
Kind of like what they do at banks, if bank robbery.
Exactly, that exact sort of thing.
Okay.
And all of that stuff is wireless, but most of it's Bluetooth. One other thing before I get into this. Are you looking, both of these systems, I can tell you, are extraordinarily easy to put in yourself.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to put it in yourself, we absolutely have people that will put it in for you.
Okay.
Or if you have somebody you can trust, do it for you.
Okay.
We have service people, and we can have them put that in
Which
for you.
I
There's
might
just an extra
do
charge.
because my husband is not very handy, so yeah, that might be an idea.
Your husband sounds like a jerk.
No, he works so hard, he just, you know.
All right. Okay, so on the Ring, yeah, okay, just to give you an idea, I mean, Google has bought out Nest, so that's all Google.
Right.
My one concern, and this may not be a concern to you, everybody's different on this, is Google is facing antitrust issues right now.
Oh.
And what they're doing may possibly, and I'm not saying that Nest is going to be affected. I can't say that it will be. I honestly don't know. I just know that they're facing a tremendous amount of litigation right now regarding monopoly and antitrust laws. And also Google having its hub as a hub and being somewhat monolithic, if it were to suffer a break-in of security, it's a lot easier to go to that than it is to, you know, there's a lot more benefit for a crook going for that. I'm not saying that that's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's just, this is only my personal thing. So you can put that, you know,
Okay.
into your,
Huh.
you know, basket, however, you know, if it fits. So what we're looking at here, okay, this is gonna be the Ring. Now, like I said, basically everything you're gonna see here in some version exists with Nest. So the one nice thing that these guys have that the Nest site does not have is if we go to personal products, and you could have done this at home. Many people do. As you can see, we've got the keypads available, we've got motion sensors and the ring with the camera in it, so that's your doorbell camera.
Okay.
Well, sorry, here's the video doorbell over here. But they've got smart lighting. They got a whole bunch of things that you can add on. The really nice thing about this site, and at this time it sounds like I'm selling you the site, because it is a great site. So if I am, but I don't get anything for that, of course. So we can go to build your own kit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and answer the questions. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with me asking you these questions, you don't want to answer something, I'll just put up a made-in number or just take something from mine,
Okay.
my house, and put it in. So, and this is only this is non-tracked. This isn't anything
Okay.
that, you know,
Right.
they'd
And
be
I'm
looking at my
committing.
ISBN anyway, so they
Okay.
wouldn't be looking at yours. So we're going to customize the security system and what we're going to try to do. All right, so now I live in an apartment, condo, townhouse house.
It's a house.
Okay, house. Okay, with how many floors?
Um,
You can also just put one, because maybe you just want to do one floor, but
yeah, just one floor.
one floor, okay. We'll just do that. Approximately indoor square footage?
I would say 2,500 to 3,000.
Okay. I want to protect how many windows?
12.
12 windows? Okay, yeah, windows are going to be the little sensors that are going to go on them.
Okay.
And how many entries to your house?
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay, and again, this is going to be the little sensors part. So, the things that you would like to apply. Now, one of the things that we haven't talked about is, we talked a little bit about the video recording. We didn't talk about smoke detectors. And if you said you had Google products, do you have Google Home currently in the house where you're controlling everything?
We've done a little bit with it, but we have the Google phones. So yeah, we're just kind of
Okay, so
thinking that
things
it
like
might integrate better.
smoke and CO, at least it wouldn't be something you would be adding, correct?
No, probably
Okay,
not.
so flood and freezing, that's not a concern.
Mm-mm.
The 24/7 emergency support, is that a concern or is that not a concern?
How would they support?
Well, with these guys, what they do is they do monitoring of your system.
Oh, okay.
So it's
okay.
24/7 monitoring.
No, I don't think we need the 24/7 monitoring. I mean, if I'm allowed to, if I can do that myself on my phone, like if we're away, we wanna check
Mhm.
things out.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that.
Oh, okay, then no, we don't need that.
Okay. The one thing I will say, this stuff can be added later. Any
Okay.
one of these things can be
Oh.
added later with either system.
Okay.
They will integrate. But this one for the Ring, if you were to go with Ring, this one's quite a bit cheaper than Nest. So if you go with Nest, if you thought maybe, you know what, maybe that's something I want to consider, it's almost double the price if you get the 3-year contract from Nest. Whereas these guys are basically $10 a month for that monitoring.
Okay.
Nest, I believe, is 19. If you get the 3-year, if you don't get the 3-year, it's 29.
Oh.
So it's almost three times as much. They do have a cheaper, it's kind of like a semi-monitoring system. I don't know all the details of it, but that one's, and this is Nest that I'm
Like
talking
the,
about.
I think
That's
it
like
was the
$5.
backup system.
Yeah, that's a backup, right.
Okay.
So that's kind of monitoring the system. It's not doing what this would do. So if you want to add those,
Oh.
so video recording is the thing that we're interested in right now. Is that right? Is that
Yeah,
fair?
for now, it's just direct.
All right, now, this is the cameras that you're going to stick up. Now, you can stick them up on the inside or the outside of your house. That's entirely up to you. But if you're, say, living at the end of a cul-de-sac and the only access point or the things that you're worried about are what's out the back door and what's out the front, you might go with 2. If you
I might
want
want
more,
one by
you
my
talked about the
though,
garage.
too. Maybe the door in the back, so 3
So you think of 3? Okay.
possibly.
All right, and this is just gonna give us a ballpark. This isn't going to give us a color preference, white or black. Black's gonna stand out.
Yeah, white.
White's a little more subtle, but it still stands out. I mean, people are gonna see them. And do you want those to run on battery, wired, or solar power? You mentioned your husband's not very handy. I would go with battery or
I'm
solar.
thinking battery, because if you have wires, aren't they gonna couldn't they just cut them?
Well, it depends on how they're wired. They shouldn't be
Oh.
wired on the outside of your house. They should come from the inside to the outside.
Oh.
So there shouldn't be exposed wiring that they can
Oh,
do
okay, so let's just do battery.
that. All right. So we'll do battery. I mean, solar is a nice option too, but you know it does add
The
price to
sun
it.
never shines around here, so
Okay,
it
well,
probably wouldn't
you
work.
must live in Wisconsin. All right. Okay, the dome sirens are going to be, now this is one of the things I will hear from people, and maybe it's a consideration for you or not. With regards to the Nest does not have extra sirens, but the Nest does have an integrated siren in its hub, which I will tell you right now, the Ring does not.
Oh,
So if someone were to come in and mess with the hub on a Ring system, that's going to,
so they're already in the house?
yes,
now.
at that point they're in the house, and if they're already messing with it, they can knock it out. It is a weak point to the
But
system.
wouldn't if they got into the house, wouldn't there be an alarm that would go off anyway, or?
Yes, in theory, if we've done this correctly, that is exactly what's gonna
Okay.
happen. And also, it depends on where you put the hub. If you put the hub right on your living room, you know, coffee table, yeah, the center table, well, that might be a mistake. You might wanna put that up in your upstairs, you know, where it's gonna be safe. You want it in a kind of hidden location.
Okay,
You really don't want the hub out generally. So if that's an issue, if you want everybody to know you've got this nice looking little hub, well, you can do that. You don't have to do that though. All right, so the dome sirens, I would suggest two, but that's, I mean, if you want none, that's okay. If you just want silent alarms or monitoring, that's fine. I would say get at least one extra.
yeah, okay, whatever you think, I don't really know.
Well, it's gotta be what you're happy with. I mean,
So, like two that would be set off with the entry points?
well, you can have one, say, since you got a separated garage, you could have one out in your garage. So when that goes off, that
Oh.
siren will go off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
then the neighbors are gonna know.
Okay, so yeah, let's do that,
So,
too.
two?
Mhm.
We'll go with two. And you can, like I said, you can add to it later. If you say, yeah, this isn't enough, you can still add. Okay, panic buttons. So this would be
So I'm thinking conservatively 12.
12, okay. We couldn't do line up.
I get anxiety.
I guess you do. Okay, so 12 panic buttons. Oh, you're all right.
That touch.
Okay. Okay, so this is, okay, I'm sure you're gonna notice that this price right now is significantly lower than anything you looked at in Nest.
Oh my gosh, because I think that lock was just $279 alone, just for that little keypad lock.
Right. Now, one of the things that you're not going to see, okay, we've got the two keypads, which that's your keypads.
Okay.
And we've got our motion detectors, and the one thing I'm not seeing on here is, well, let's take a look. Let's see what it's showing us. So we've got the cam with the battery. There it is. So we've got that. So with all of, yes, the extra parts. So what it's showing you here, you're gonna see that, and get ready for the sticker shock. Okay, this is the basic kit that you're going to start with.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna see the keypads, the contact sensors, the motion. This is all the basic stuff that you want. The additional stuff is gonna be, and here the nice thing about this system is here we can play, or the nice setup about this particular website, I should say,
Mm.
is we can play with the numbers, we can add,
Okay,
subtract.
okay.
So,
Mhm.
you're gonna see things like the camera here, that's gonna be one of your most expensive parts.
But that's important. That's
I
kind of the
agree.
main thing.
Yeah, I agree. I would absolutely, and I think 3 is probably a reasonable number, based on what you've said. You know, if you wanted to cut some of the money, you could knock back the panic buttons a bit.
I'm sorry, I panicked when I gave you that number. Oh, I don't know. I mean-
what's your budget? You know, I mean.
I mean, my husband has a big bonus coming.
I hope so.
I think is maybe 4
Professional,
okay?
Well, the question is where are you gonna use them?
Okay, so I spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Okay, so we got 1.
The living room,
2.
and then up. We have 2 stories. I only wanted to cover the 1 story, but for the upstairs, I would say the bathroom
Okay. Great.
and the bedroom, I guess.
4.
I mean, 'cause
So maybe 5. Do you have another bathroom?
well,
I mean, because yeah, I can
there's
understand
the
where
main
you.
bathroom upstairs that is central to the other 5 bedrooms, so that way,
They could theoretically reach it.
yeah, maybe.
Okay. So if we go with.
Oh,
We go with 4
Yeah.
of those instead. I mean, that knocks the price quite a
Okay.
bit, and actually, then we're under 1,000.
yeah, that's good.
I mean, is that roughly the budget you're looking at?
Yeah, actually it is. I was trying to stay, you know.
Okay, now, before we go any further, remember this, since we talked about it, this is Ring, this is not Nest. Nest is gonna be more expensive, and you don't have the 2 things that you were looking at.
Right.
So I don't wanna, you know,
But I feel like this one seems to offer you quite a bit, and I do like the idea of the panic buttons. If you don't have the voice activation or whatever,
well,
This-
so I understand, you would be okay with getting rid of the fobs and the voice activation?
I mean, we don't have.
That would make sense
The
to you?
fob thing was okay. I like the idea of like walking
No,
in.
it's convenience, I mean,
and
yeah.
being
it's
able to say, you know, disarm or whatever.
Okay.
But it might be okay as a trade-off. I kind of, looking at the pricing on the other system, on the Nest,
Mm-hmm.
it was very cost prohibitive. And
I agree.
actually what you said about with Google, being looked at,
Well, like I said, that's my own
I
personal
know,
concern.
but that's something to consider, because if the company gets broken up, now you're gonna have what happens to the system.
Mhm.
Now it's possible another company's gonna come in and run it, and are they gonna make me have to upgrade things? So that's a concern for me. Rather than having a standalone system, it might be the better option, I think.
Okay.
Because I don't have to worry about this company, being broken up or anything.
Now, if I remember right, you had also said that you would want somebody to set it up for you?
Yes.